Good morning. This is Wendy with Thoughts of a Social Worker, and I wanted to do some discussion around stress. What causes stress? What is stress? How do we manage stress? So I've decided to do a 3-part series on being able to first understand what stress is, and then part 2 will be able to talk about what are some triggers. And then part 3 will be learning how to manage stress. So for today, what is stress? Stress is internal and external stimuli that gets our emotional and physical well-being usually in an uproar. There are positive and negative stressors. Stress is very subjective. What might stress me out may not stress you out, and vice versa. I have learned, and I am a huge advocate of learning how to minimize little stressors so that those big stressors do not impact you as much. And that is going to be in that 3rd series of how to manage stress a little bit better. I will be attaching resources regarding stress so that you can do some additional research, which I encourage you to do. On stress, there is a link for a quiz on the web that you can take. I think there's about 12 questions, and we'll let you know if you are high risk for stress. And there'll be some additional information that you can link to and research on how to manage that. So, stress. What is it and what's the impact? So, speaking from personal experience, I didn't even realize that I was a high-strung anxiety person. It took me until the middle of my life to figure out that I am a high anxiety person. Probably as you watch my videos, you'll see that I move around a lot, and that is an indication of anxiety. And I work really hard on trying to be aware of it and also manage it, because it's a manifestation of anxiety. So I work on that. But physical stuff, headaches, inability to sleep, struggling with focus, stomach upset, sexual dysfunction, what else? Trouble breathing, where you're breathing really shallow, and that's where that mindfulness comes into play. And I, again, didn't even realize how shallow I was breathing. So instead of taking those really deep cleansing breaths in and letting them out, I was breathing more like, which is a very shallow flight or fight type of breathing, which is that very primitive place in our brain that says, okay, we're stressed, what do we do? And your body begins to reroute all the oxygen from your body. Your brain begins to reroute all that oxygen from your body to your brain so that you have the fullest capacity to think. And that's where that shallow breathing comes in. And I notice I do that a lot and move around. So those are some of the physical things that happen with stress. Some of the emotional stuff is, isolating yourself, being irritated, agitated, being extremely emotional, like crying. Lots of different ways that stress can impact you. And then, of course, there's, financial stress. There's stress from your job. Internal stress we create for ourselves. Some of that anxiety of, like, replaying trauma over in our brain, or thinking about, what if? I'm a great what if scenario person. Well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? And that just creates extra anxiety, which manifests into stress. So stress is crazy. It's one of those multifaceted, it's like a spider web type of thing, and it really creates a lot of issues. So that's kind of just a little tiny glimpse into what stress is. It really compromises your quality of life if you don't learn how to manage it. I really hope that you utilize the resources and do your own research and get to know you and your stress level, because that is one of the best gifts that you can give yourself. Ongoing stress creates chronic physical and emotional issues. I can attest to that. Learn it, get it under control, and manage it, and you will be all the better for it. So be looking for part 2, which will be being able to identify triggers, and I will show you how to kind of self-assess and self-evaluate what's going on in your world, so you can figure out, well, this part of my life is a little bit more stressful, because knowledge is power. And remember, I am here to empower and educate you so that you are able to evolve into the best version of you. I really appreciate you watching. I hope this is useful for you, and I will return in not too long with part 2 of stress series that we are talking about. In the meantime, have an awesome day. Thank you for listening, and take care.